This is a
Good time, Charlie?
production.
On your marks, get set, play.
I love that.
Good favor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Welcome back to the tent one last time into the breach, y'all. It is Crimpetous. It's Great British Bake Off podcast. I am the Interstellar 713, joined as always by the baker with the baker who don't actually bake, but still Snick Jew.
How do I? Hello, everyone.
And the baker who do bake is my man Ant. What's good?
Yeah, I'm more of a candlestick maker.
No butchering in these parts, but you know.
No butchering.
It is Series 14, Episode 10. It's the final. And I'm kind of sad about it.
Same.
No fun intro because that's the final. So all you get is like pretty much a recap of the series up until this point. And so that makes Allison being sick last week that much even more of a loss. We lost out. But our finalists are as followed. It's Dan Cazador, Josh Smalley, and Maddie Edjo taking it to the tent to see who will be the champ. And very exciting times, people. Very exciting times. Let's see if I can cross you over. But every week, we bring you a couple of before we delve into the recap and review of the program. We share with y'all just a tidbit of news in a segment that we call Bakers Make the World Go Round. Click some buttons around the scene, and I try to remember now to turn the audio on so my my co-hostess with the Moses can hear it. And then I push play.
Bakers make the world go round.
Oh. But they heard it. And that's all that kind of matters, when you think on it.
We did.
And I'll read you some news stories. Both our news stories this week come from Vulture. And let's start with the good one, and then we'll do the bad one. This is some real skim type shit. And on Skim, I try to do news that both because Anthony was like, you can't be doing bad news all the time, my man. And so I try to pull a good one and a bad one. And then this week, that is what we've just managed to do here. First one is the Great British Baking Show. Crack the co-host code. This is Jen Chaney on the byline.
Nice.
In this week's finale of the Great British Baking Show, marking the end of Series 14 according to British Television and Collection 11 on Netflix in the U.S., co-host Allison Hammond asked finalist Josh what he would miss most about being in the tent. You, of course, he responded. Immediately, I thought, me too, Josh. Me too. In a season of Bake Off that succumbed to some bland stretches.
Uh-oh.
You tell me where they are. Although I guess I could click that link and they would tell me where they are, but I ain't doing that. And featured a less than diverse trio of white male finalists. What to do with you muted, but I felt you.
You on mute.
I felt that. Even though you muted yourself.
That was God.
Yo,
God blocked it.
Ooh, it was warm, but she was muting, so nothing could be heard. It was so obvious.
He's the best guy around.
What murder? Oh my gosh. Hammond's debut as a co-presenter added a vital zest to the proceedings. Paired with Noel Fielding, the series veteran provider of comic relief and wearer of punk rock jumpers, Hammond made total sense as an addition to the coziest cookie show currently broadcast on planet Earth. So much so that when she was absent for one episode due to illness, which we just literally just moments ago talked about, it felt like the show was missing a main ingredient. Wow, I feel so seen. From her first moments of the tent, Hammond brought a sense of ease, likely informed by the fact that she has competed on reality shows herself, including Big Brother, Celebrity MasterChef, and Strictly Come Dancing, and served as a judge on a couple, I Can See Your Voice, and RuPaul's Drag Race UK. She also has plenty of on-camera experience as an actor and more relevantly, yeah, okay, a presenter and interviewer on ITV's This Morning, the British equivalent of the Today Show. She instinctively understood the vibes of GBBO and dialed into it immediately, keeping things comfortable for the viewers, for her co-hosts, and for the unfailingly polite contestants just trying to make a consistent set of Devonshire splits. Again, I'm not going to read you the whole thing. I love me some Allison. I think we made that clear. And
Yes.
like this writer made clear, it was real. It was her missing last week. You felt her absence, and to have her back this week was like it was like, yeah, this brings something to the situation. I think they're correct. It is dialed into a point where I'm like, this is it. This is the combination of people we need. So I hope that everybody gets paid right and remains as such. That the rest of the article is in your show notes. You can enjoy it. Let's check out the last paragraph or show. It's clear that Hammond speaks the language of baking show because she is a real fan of the show. She genuinely got giddy the first time she watched Paul Hollywood offer a baker one of his famous handshakes and pleaded for the honor of announcing the winner of the finale, saying, "That's all I want." Fielding ceded that job to her, Riley noting, "You should do it because it's probably your last." But that seems unlikely. If that makes Great British Bake Off have any sense, they will bring Hammond back every year until she decides she's had her fill of revealing dastardly technical challenges and flirting with the bakers. I'm no Paul Hollywood, but I say she deserves a heartfelt handshake for a job well done. That's a well-written little something.
We started off shaky, but we ended on one accord.
Now let's get shaky. Again, this is from Vulture. Nick sent us this and we was already warm about it. So I was like, well, okay, I guess we got to talk about this on the show for show. The Great British Bake Off needs a villain. This is Roxana Hadidi. Hadadi on the byline. I think we're all going to be. I'm gonna speak for the group, and I think we're all on one accord when we like the fuck it does, as that tweet that Nick sent that stated so clear, because it simply does not. But let's see why this person seems to believe that they do. This season of the Great British Bake Off has been like a set custard. The ingredients are simpler, the end result seemingly smooth. Cut into it though, and you'll find something that feels a little congealed, a little stuck in its ways.
God.
GBO decisions to go back to the basics has made for a fairly pleasant viewing experience where the contestants aren't being tortured by the whims of judges Paul Hollywood and Prue Leith. But it has also been, aside from Alison Hammond and Noel Fielding's ability to simultaneously flirt with each other and every competitor, I don't believe that was what was happening, but okay, somewhat boring and a reflection of the entertainment limits of GBO hands-off editing approach. So let me make a suggestion to cut through the GBBO gelatinous kindness. It's time for the show to embrace the villain edit.
No.
Is this antithetical to everything GBBO claims to be about? Sure. 13 years and 14 seasons in, GBBO has remained ever committed to the veneer of judging fairness and the projection of the cast collaboration, both of which are buoyed by the lack of a cash prize. The series has never deviated from the structure of its challenges. For the signature and Showstopper, the competitors are allowed to design and practice their offering in advance. For the technical, everyone gets the same ingredients and the same set of instructions, and the judges evaluate their bakes without knowing who made what. All of that preparation, GBO says, is to even the stakes so that the bakers are only considered by the episode-to-episode quality of their bakes. But as Paul and Prue kept amping up their demands and asking more and more rigorous undertakings, that promise began to feel as hollow as properly prepared shoe. So this season left behind the biscuit chandeliers, edible sculptures, and consistently offensive nation-themed recipe for a more even-keeled tone. From a success standpoint, that's been good for the bakers this season. Meltdowns, literally and figuratively, have been rare as challenges were confined to specific one-offs. One-of-a-kind marshmallow biscuit, one variation of a sausage roll, with good chunks of time afforded them to assemble bigger ask like an edible chocolate box or spherical meringue bomb. Yes, the technicals have been intermittently unfair, like the 2 short times given to prove Devonshire splits or figure out treacle puddings. Paul and Prue are seemingly incapable of entirely letting go of their culinary cruelty. Outside of the challenge, though, clear disaster for the bakers has been the result of overestimating their own skills or getting too ambitious, like Dan's raw pizza dough letters or Tasha's butter on the outside laminated pastry. Not because the task itself was too ludicrous. The unexpected impact of dialing back of difficulty, however, is that the thing about GBBO, which haven't changed, are more clear and have resulted in a sense of slightly stale monotony. Simpler challenges are better for the bakers, but they're not boosting the series' entertainment value enough to make up for other wearied qualities.
No.
Oh, well, no. Yeah, hands down, we disagree. Let's see. And here, we'll just do last paragraph. And look, sometimes the villain edits is just fun to watch. Not necessarily a way to flatten someone, but as a way to round them out, to give as much attention to their bad thoughts and opinions as their good ones. To whatever extent GBBO might adopt elements of the villain edit, it would mean a vision of the tent that more than a decade into the series reflects the multifaceted nature of its contestants and the manufactured pressures they're under in a more coherent, even genuine way. It might seem contradictory, but a more hands-on edit that shows the contestants at their most honest and perhaps most vexed, distressed, and irritated at the judges and in each other would at least provide an authenticity that GBBO rigidly kind format increasingly lacks. The series might not be as nice, but it would be more engaging. I would like to clearly state for the record and the position of this show, which I think I can say, fuck this. And I don't mean to call her. I know that sounded fucked up. I know Aunt would be disappointed in me for saying that shit, but I don't play that shit, man. Don't go playing around. That's an American ass ideology to have too, man. That's a real fucked up people who watch reality TV on this side of the pond kind of bullshit. That show was dope for a reason.
That's what I was going to ask too. Like, this has to be an American because we're just so not used to seeing reality TV show competition where A, there's no cash prize, and B, there's no villain. That's how we got Donald Trump. He's a reality TV show villain, and people love a villain. And I, for one, love a villain. I don't think there's anything wrong with the show having a villain, but I think what is charming, what is different, what is so lovely about this show is that there is no villain and it's still compelling and you're rooting for people. One of the quote tweets said something like, "We all know the true villain is the temperature in the tent during chocolate week." So you don't need a villain when chemistry and things are involved.
So This is the thing. One, this article almost reads as though 2 people wrote it. One person who watched the show and one person who didn't. Because it might have been the first season that it was on Netflix. There was a lady who took somebody's ice cream out the freezer. And the drama was thick as fuck in that episode. The dude got voted off that episode whose ice cream got took out the freezer. And then the next episode, the lady just didn't come back. So I was thinking like, it was like some just dessert shit. Like, hey, we didn't really know what happened at first, but we voted you. We kicked you off because of what you did.
Yeah.
So I remember that too. And it was like a little game of like, did she do it on purpose? Didn't she? And they didn't discuss it at all. It was super clean. Just the next day, she was not the fuck there.
Yep. She did not come back for the rest of the season. And ever since then, there hasn't, they was like, maybe most likely, we weeding this shit out. We don't like that. We don't want that. And I don't want that. I like having, not watching Scott's tots every episode. Everybody doesn't want that. Everybody doesn't want
it. It was upsetting. It was upsetting when Nick first said the tweet. We kind of just laughed it off. And now having read it, I'm just that more angry at it. It's like, what do you think this is? And if you don't fuck with it, don't watch it. No.
Watch something else. Every other reality competition show is what you're asking for.
Yes.
Watch something else. It's the thing like when the housewives get to about the third season, they fucking jump the shark and now everybody is a celebrity and they're playing to their social media audience. When the first 3 seasons was just, we were watching these people's lives. Like, this is the thing that I love about Bake Off. It's not about winning. You get a fucking plate. A plate.
It's not even a particularly nice plate.
Yeah.
Right.
It don't even got a dome. It's just the bottom.
Right.
Yo,
A platter.
Yeah.
a platter. What's the dome called? It's got a name. I can't remember. Cloche. No cloche to go on top of it.
Yeah.
Your cake gonna get dry. You leave it on there. You better get you a cloche.
Listen.
Oh my God, I love this show so much. I in
I
particular,
was so mad. I was so mad when I saw this. Like, no.
I in particular have loved this particular season so much. I feel like I have really, I don't know, developed this parasocial closeness with these bakers this go around. And I was not mad that it was 3 white dudes at the end because I've never had it happen before. It's not like there's always 3 white dudes at the end. It's never like that, in fact. So I wasn't sitting there with any kind of anger about that either. I just was hyped to see these dudes come through. And I don't know. It's great. So let's talk about why it's great. That's what we do here. That shit, I should have read that one first. It just got mad earlier. I could have calmed down reading about the sweetness that is Allison. It's okay. This was a God blessed final, and it was so, so good, y'all. Your signature bake this week. 8 eclairs, 4 of one flavor, 4 of another. I did not write how long they had to do this. I'm usually pretty good about that. My apologies. I got, like I said, it's so many things. This episode was rich with all kinds of things. But Prue nodding her hair and Noel's baking in the nude joke should let you already know. That should act as a reminder that Prue got a little freak in her. Y'all remember we read a story about Prue, how Prue was, basically stole Smike's husband.
She did. They had an affair for years. She didn't steal him.
I mean,
he left. You can't steal a human. He left.
True indeed. I'm just saying.
It was her best friend.
Prue wouldn't shaking her head no, or like, oh, stop it. She was just like, yeah, I could see you gentlemen. So just know that, okay?
She like a drink.
But you can't take with leaves.
If you smoke, you'll poke.
Fair. First up is my man Dan with his He Who Dares Eclairs. Strawberries and cream. The one set of strawberries and cream decorated with a chantilly cream with cubes of a fruit punch jelly. I think we on either side of the pond have a different notion of what fruit punch should be, and I wonder what they got going on over there, because we are not the same. His second one is a salted caramel mascarpone cream with a praline ganache topped with a decorated tempered chocolate rectangles. Josh is attempting tropical and mocha. Mocha is how they say it. Mocha is how we say it. Eclairs. One is coconut, mango, and raspberry. The other filled with coffee pastry cream topped with dark chocolate and coffee icing with a crackling topping. Matty, I should put that Y underneath after that, is going for a Black Forest and Banoffee eclairs. Black Forest gâteau topped with a Kirsch chantilly cream and a Banoffee-filled banana creme pat topped with walnut and pecan praline. Banoffee is a classic Brit dessert, usually in pie form made with bananas, whipped cream, and caramel. It's a portmanteau of banana and toffee. And it sounds both amazing and awful because one of your hosts absolutely despises bananas.
Well, I listened to Nick's show today. Two of y'all don't really like bananas.
Right.
It was really
Hey. I was not going to discuss who don't like the bananas. Just know.
No, I put it out there. It's all on the show.
Nobody likes bananas, really.
Let me tell you something. I don't just not like them. The smell makes me nearly wretch. And
I tolerate them.
As a father of two people that was once babies who had bananas, is like you have to feed baby bananas. Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you, it was a very difficult life because I'm just here, baby. Just please, just keep it in your mouth and don't spit it up. Then I gotta clean it all off you.
See, this is why I don't have children, because I would have been MJ to the bullshit.
Neither of my children eat bananas as older people, so I'm sure I understand that. But no, the very notion. They literally make me ill, people. I'm not joking about that. It's not me. It's not that I'm weird or whatever. They upset my stomach.
Everything that you feel right now, apply it to me with wet bread.
How you do French toast? French toast usually got a little crust to it. Can you bang with French toast?
Yes, because I control the wetness. You see what I'm saying, friends?
Very good. Good enough. It's been an innuendo-filled season, people. That's all I want y'all to know.
I feel like I revealed a lot about myself to the listening audience today.
Oh, man. That was good.
It's not true.
All right.
Let's don't get we all control you gotta try. You gotta try.
Gonna head on
the French toast is different. It's not the same.
Josh is up top. Like the look of it. Pretty uniform across the board. Perfectly filled. Delicate but delicious flavors to Prue. Too sweet to Paul. The mocha one, on the other hand, Paul thinks is quite clever. Right level of chocolate, a lovely texture, likes the crackling on top, coffee level spot on, filled well, baked well, delicious. Maddie's up next. The cherries on top are ridiculous. So you have to understand, Maddie was going for a Black Forest cake, and so he was going with halves of cherries just sitting on top of 3 on top of an eclair. And I think it's more how he laid them on there. Had he laid them up, I guess what I want to say, smooth side, exterior out, so the cherries kind of look nice, I think it would have worked better than him just laying haphazardly cherries just all looking like and getting cut weird, and or just whole cherries. If you get a singular whole cherry just in the middle, you know what I'm saying? I think that would have worked better than what he went for. But I don't. Ridiculous as a little harsh, but Paul was a little harsh this week, y'all. So. Yeah. But Paul likes the banana flavor, but isn't getting any caramel. So Prue thinks a banana lover would love it. They slice into the Black Forest one, and Prue exclaims that this is the first one we've had that is properly firm, and I laughed heartily because I'm a 12-year-old at heart. Prue likes the taste, but thinks it could have used more cherry. Prue thinks the chocolate is lovely, and the booze is good, and it's a crisp, firm eclair.
So do you guys think of a quick aside? Is Black Forest like a Christmassy time of year cake, or?
I don't know.
I don't know, because cherries are, I guess they're using in most situations like liquor soaked cherries, so they could be available year round. But I remember Black Forest cakes coming about. It do seem like an end of the year kind of vibe. Now that you say that, it do seem like a fall situation,
Yeah, because
I'm not super familiar with them.
Yeah, my local Costco has some Black Forest like bar cakes right now, and I was so close to getting them, but the cream didn't look right in the middle. And this lady was like, "Oh, you should get it. It's good." And then I was like, "You shouldn't be talking to me," so I didn't get it at all.
Stay with me, stranger.
Yeah, stranger danger.
Dan's bringing up the rear here. Strawberry ones look a bit messy. And the salted caramel ones don't work with that chocolate bit on the top of them, as it's wider than the eclair. Once again, Dan has done far more than he should have, as the eclair looks very soggy because he left it in the tin to cool instead of taking them out and putting them on a rack. So they steamed in the tin and became what? Nick's enemy, soggy bread.
And he didn't he said there's a vital step in making eclairs is you have to like dust sugar or something over them before you put them in the oven, and he forgot.
Bro,
He
I mean,
forgot.
unless on that edit it had been a while, I would immediately just open that stove and hit them bitches with that ice and sugar, just right then and there. Just like we'll see what it do, because just not doing it clearly is going to become an issue. Flavor is lovely for the strawberry one. Not convinced of a flavor on the salted caramel. Not satiny smooth, but a good flavor to prove. So if you looked at that, I'm saying Maddie and Josh come off pretty good. Dan comes off mighty poorly. And this ain't the time to be playing poorly because it's your last go around. Goodness me. Let's head on over to our technical challenge. 9 Lardy cake slices. 3 hours to complete. I want to read this, y'all, word for word, because it made me laugh a lot. We've heard his poetry. We've seen his dance move. We've seen him strip down to trunks and wrestle a live bear. I'm sure you've fallen in love with him, and he loves you too, although he will destroy you one by one. That was Noel talking about Paul as they were introducing the technical challenge. And it was so funny that even Paul was laughing.
I think Noel is so funny too.
He really came through, man.
One of the best things about the season is how funny he and Allison think each other are. They just are having such a good time.
So then he follows that up after they, present the instructions to the thing, and he goes, he basically sends Paul and Prue away. And he goes, well, it's the last technical challenge. So you know what they're going. You know where they're going.
That was cringy.
Allison goes, because Allison is always game for the bit. Where are they going? And Noel's response, to make sweet, sweet love.
Scotch Tots.
Please don't make me go watch The Office. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It made me laugh as I typed it. It makes me laugh just thinking about it. It
was very funny.
I was just like, that is insane. It was a great series. Like I said, that idiot talking about they need a villain cut. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. What show are you watching? I also think that Paul's judging, in my opinion, was not harsh this episode. It's the final.
Harsh is the wrong turn of phrase. He came through with expectations of these 3 bakers this week.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were not met, that hand had to be a little strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is all. Lardy cake. Ugh. Sometimes referred to as Lardy bread, Lardy John's, dough cake, and Forzes cake is a traditional spiced bread from the south of England. It is apparently still popular for weekend teas in Sussex, Surrey, Hampshire, Berkshire, Wiltshire, Dorset, and Gloucestershire. Gloucestershire. Anyway, the very ideal is disgusting to me, but I wonder if it would be good if you made it with butter instead, a lard, because that Lardy is indeed lard. You got to take lard, spread it in your dough. That is a bread-like dough, so it's going to need some prove time. But you need to prove in a way that it doesn't melt the lard and spill out. So that's how you get your lamination. And
yuck. Yuck.
Just full of fruit, full of dried fruits, like fruit cake style fruits in larded dough. No, but I understand the challenge. I understand why it was presented as such. we can immediately, again, for these, as always, we can immediately jump on over to judging because trust. Josh is up top. Got 9 that all look square, feel light, has good lamination, flavor's good, mixed peel taste, brings Prue to giggles. He was very happy a couple times this episode. We'll get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Dan is up next. I got y'all so much information right here. Y'all, you wouldn't think I could come through with as much I'm about to get y'all, but let's take a look at this King Alfred, is what Paul says.
Yeah, I wanted to know what the fuck that was because
I got you. Prue responds, only slightly King Alfred. And I'm sitting here like, the fuck is King Alfred?
Because if it's a Queen Charlotte situation, it's on site, Paul Hollywood and Prue Leith.
Well,
on site.
King Alfred, aka Alfred the Great, was the king of the West Saxons from 871 to 886 and king of the Anglo-Saxons from 886 until his death in 899. What does that have to do with cake? Legend has it that when Alfred fled to the Somerset levels, the levels are a coastal plain in the wetland area in Somerset, England, because I can't just leave you hanging this week, he was given shelter by a peasant woman who did not know who he was. As such, she had him watch some wheated cakes that she had cooking on the fire. But he was so preoccupied with the issues of the kingdom that he let the cakes burn, and the peasant woman clowned his ass out for it.
Oh,
so
that helped.
King Albert, of course, by context clues means burnt.
It was burnt.
But now we know how we got there.
Yeah. So, because I definitely was like, if this was a black king, I'm setting this motherfucker off on the podcast.
So it's King Alfred.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prue thinks it's only slightly King Alfred, by the way, and is nicely caramelized in her opinion. Paul disagrees, but they settle on just overbaked.
I'm not to steal that though. That's pretty damn good.
The layers aren't even, but they're there. It has a nice flavor, albeit, of course, dry. Too dry, in fact. Maddie, Prue asks, this isn't properly baked, is it? And Paul responds, no. But it has lots of fruit in it, but unfortunately it's raw. So it also needed more proving time as it's quite dense and hasn't been properly laminated. Everything about Maddie's technical bake was off the game.
So,
but Josh finally won one. He had never won a technical.
Yeah.
What
you about to say?
Josh was straight up pushing his thumb inside the dough, pushing the fat inside there. He shouldn't have been doing nothing like that. That shit looked weird.
I don't bang with lard. I don't bang with swine in general, and not just lard. Pig lard. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I don't know if it was beef lard. Maybe that would make you feel better. But they made a point to say, "No, this is some swine. This like this is not. This is haram, people. You can't eat that." Your ranking is following in third place is, of course, Maddie. Lamination really bad. Needed more proving and baking. In second place, Dan stayed in the oven a bit too long, didn't it? That's all they said to my man. Stayed in the oven a bit too long, didn't it? First place, Josh, decent. Right color and right flavor. Well done. Here you have it. That is your last technical of Series 14. Your showstopper this week. Nick, were you showstopped this last go round?
No.
No, not even. A tiered celebration cake inspired by your first bake. 4 hours to complete.
Where was the celebrations?
This is where a Saku, maybe a Tash, but many other baker, even
Dana.
Oh yes, Lord, man, she has become just too sweet. The best follow you want to have on IG, and I know she's far too young for your old boy, but I can simply appreciate what she got going on there. So.
I follow Megan Thee Stallion, and I feel the exact same way.
I'm like, whew, okay there.
There's always exceptions to the rules.
Dana?
It's always
Yeah.
like I don't. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I don't know. But just know, Jennifer Love Hewitt is an exception to the rule.
All right. I'm just pointing out to y'all. Other bakers would have made a more celebratory cake situation. Though,
yes,
I gotta give it up. Well, we'll get there. So let's go through it. Dan's up top. He's going for a lemon drizzle memory lane cake, 3-tiered cake with layers of lemon curd, limoncello cream mousseline, raspberry compote with a base of lemon macarons, topped with torch Italian. Topped with torched Italian meringue as a nod to lemon meringue pie, with white chocolate collars surrounding the tiers. Josh, a slice for all seasons. Cakes, Ribby. It's going for spring and summer are the inspiration for the top 2 layers that are apple and vanilla sponge with a rhubarb and strawberry jam with a white chocolate buttercream filling. The bottom tier, representing autumn, is an apple-flavored Victoria sponge with a lemon curd and a white chocolate buttercream filling, with all 3 layers having a Swiss meringue buttercream on the outside. Also, to top it off, is a strawberry sugar biscuit greenhouse with mint boiled sweet windows that's on the top of the whole thing. Maddie, he's going for it. He just named his shit the final celebration. 3 tiers, 2 of chocolate genoise with French buttercream and brownie between the layers, with a lemon and raspberry Victoria sponge with a summer jam filling as the middle tier, with an American style buttercream on that one.
American buttercream. What is it? What's the difference? Grainy. Do we know?
No, I didn't look it up. I just figured it's just it wasn't a Swiss style. It's probably the American version, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm just looking at it, it is. You're just beating the butter with the sugar, whereas the Swiss method and the Italian method require heating up some stuff to mix in there as well. So I think it's just more like some room temp butter and sugar and whatever else you're gonna add to it for flavor wise. So
the internet says American buttercream has a pale ivory color and is a bit firmer than most other buttercreams because it has a very high butter content.
Look at that. Let me tell you something. I made at some point early this year or late last, for the first time I made from scratch an icing with a buttercream. So it was butter, it was cocoa, and powdered sugar, icing sugar. And that shit was the best tasting thing I ever had in my life. I'll never buy it again. I'll simply always just make it from scratch at this point. But I'm not really frosting cakes that often. But when it come up, and if it do come up, I'm on that shit. Let's get to judging our showstopper. Dan is up top. Paul likes the stark contrast of the raspberries against the white chocolate, but thinks the macarons are terrible and probably should have been left off as they sort of ruin it.
Terrible.
Now, here's how I think I would have done it. One, I would have made 2 sizes of macarons and hope you made them well. And so at the bottom, you could have had a yellow macaron, a red raspberry. You know what I'm saying? That's your bottom. And then in between the top and the middle, same thing with just the little macarons. And then you kind of have that color situation throughout. And because it did, like the yellow stuck out like a sore thumb, and it didn't work well looks wise. Looks a lovely sponge is what they say when they first cut into it. Needs more flavor. Needs more lemon. Flavor's delicious. The bake is good too. The macarons let it down as well. Dan pretending he didn't know the macarons was trash was hilarious.
Yes.
Look, did I underbake them shits? Like, yes, you said you underbaked them over there. We all know it. There's your villain edit. That man pretending he didn't know he made bad macarons.
He was like,
Oh wow, these are terrible. Like, yeah, they was terrible when you put them things on your thing on the side of that cake, and you knew it.
The thing about Dan being in the final is he probably knew that he should have been there either. Like, Tasha fucked up. Like, there's no reason why Tasha wasn't in that tent this week other than her own self.
Yeah.
So I think Dan made it to the final and was like, like, I'm in this bitch. Let's go.
That's exactly what that was, man. Maddie's up next. Decoration and decoration good. Pipe work good. And fruit, all pros. You know what I'm saying? This is everything they say.
Come on,
this is
Maddie.
working. The top tier being on the lean is the issue. Very light sponge.
Only issue.
Prue raises a hand like that lady who said a chicken salad off that bite. She took that bite and was like, and I was like, damn, is it really doing that, Prue? She is surprised that such a light sponge would weigh enough to cause a lean. Paul, with a mouthful of cake, is like, what a great cake. It's light, chocolatey, Moorish sponge. Prue thinks it's absolutely delicious, and she has no good reason to have another bite, but she has to as she takes another bite. The second tier, Prue likes the jam. Paul likes the cake, says it reminds him of a nice birthday cakes he had as a kid. A beautiful sponge. All the flavors are perfect. Really perfect, Maddie. Nothing wrong with this cake except it's on the lean. That's the one mistake. And I had to ask, did my man just bake himself into a chip?
Bruh.
Josh is up next. Prue thinks the greenhouse is great and the colors are beautiful. It's straight and level, but the pipework is not very neat. Could have spent more time on the decorating. The greenhouse is very clever. The jam on the top layer is perfect, and Prue likes the sponge, but Paul isn't tasting the apple. The rhubarb and strawberry just aren't enough. It needs something more. The bottom layer, of course, has been compressed by the weight of the tiers above it. Love the lemon curd. Has a nice flavor. Prue would have appreciated an additional layer of lemon curd, and the sponge might have actually been overbaked. The flavors are adequate, and Paul wants to see more of Josh's journey in the tent. Paul says boring is too strong a word, but it's on its way. It's not your best shot, per Miss Dame Prue. And here's what I wrote about this. When you see Josh's cake on a computer monitor early one Wednesday morning, one certainly believes they are seeing a championship level bake. Beautifully colored, beautifully level. This is going to be it. But on second and third viewing, you begin to notice the flaws. The decoration is sort of basic. And when they cut the bottom cake, you can see the crumb is off. And then to hear that the flavors are off starts feeling like 2016 NBA Finals. Just want y'all to know. It's unexpected little turns here. Your winner of Series 14, 2023 Great British Bake Off is none other than Maddie.
Can I talk my shit for a little minute here?
Oh, you called that shit. You called that shit. Preach that word.
What I say? I said early on, I was like, I wouldn't put it past Maddie to make a little run. When the forager chick went home is when I first looked at Maddie and I said, you're a winner, baby. I was shocked.
Maybe you're a star.
Because listen, might not know it now. But I definitely thought that out of these three, Josh was going to take it. Like, for sure. Josh is taking it. He's the best technical baker in the tent. He's the best decorator in the tent. Maybe Dan gets lucky and has an amazing week. Maybe Maddie shines, in all three. Because that's why I was so excited about the finale. Because I'm like, anybody could win. And I wouldn't be mad at any of the last three of them winning. But when my dog was like, bam, 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 I was like, okay, see, because he didn't just win the Showstopper, he won the week.
Yeah.
And I would like to point out, last week, T said that he wanted to know why Maddie was getting sunned by Paul. Like, but the thing about it is, Maddie grew every fucking week. Like, Dan showed his potential like right away, and early on, that was his ceiling all the time. Josh was great, but he was a little bit too pleased with himself. Like,
It was a vibe, wasn't it?
It was like he knew from the beginning.
I didn't get that vibe. I think he might be on the
Nick,
spectrum.
I'm not laughing at it. You might be on the spectrum.
That might be it. But last episode, and I held my tongue because it's like I wanted to. Of course, I wanted to watch this week. But he was just too pleased with himself. He knew like he had it in the bag, but you don't have it in the fucking bag. You got a whole another week to go. And like I said, Maddie grew every week. And one thing I learned from Justice for Jurgen is the fact that they want to see somebody who, when they say something, they listen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Maddie being a rugby player, like he knows how to be coached.
He did some coaching.
And he grew every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Josh is the rugby player. Don't put that on Maddie.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Maddie is a sporto too.
Maddie's a PE teacher, so he got sport through him. If you especially if you watch, the only reason I'm co-signing you saying Josh pleased himself. Watch the Showstopper when he walking his cake up there with that grin on his face, like I know I did this shit.
Yeah, he gives me vibes of like I was definitely not trying to insult anybody.
No shade given out there. Yeah,
at all. Some of his patterns to me read as like somebody with like a asphyxiation. Like you can just watch his face. He has little ticks kind of sometimes. And you can see him processing when he's thinking about like to me, I think that he's like a brilliant baker, probably because he's on the spectrum. Like I think he's genius level at this because it's his fixation. Yeah. I'm definitely not trying to insult anybody. And if I'm being super offensive, I'm very sorry. I'm complimenting him, but I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to diss him.
If you just listen to the show as opposed to watching it, I want you to go look up these last cakes or just go watch the last, let's say 20 minutes of this episode, wherever you can get it at. And like I said, you'll look at the decoration of his cake and you're like, those little splodges that are like, that he's like, hitting the icing with. I'm like, whereas when they show Maddie used the tip with the decorator tip, and they're these fine little waves. And then you look at he painted like vegetables and flowers on this thing, and they painted them, they looked almost childlike, Crayola-like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, what is Josh doing? But again, you don't notice that until you notice it. And then you notice it, you're like, oh, this doesn't look good. The colors are nice. The greenhouse is a neat little effect, you know what I'm saying? Like a little tiny gingerbread house, if you will. That is cool. But it was really, really, really poorly decorated, y'all. Like, I'm like...
And he's the best decorator in the entire competition, in my opinion.
Until he is painting on a vertical surface.
Right.
Like he did with that chocolate box. It's like, you can't. You can't do that because gravity is just going to do what gravity do, and it's going to pull it in different ways. It's not going to look nice. Paul was like, you should have spent another 30 minutes on decorating this and gave it the finesse it deserved. And
because he's used to seeing Josh perform at a level well above what he turned out.
Which is what Josh even said at the end. He goes, I don't think Paul was being mean. I think he knows what I can do, and I did not do that this week. So Maddie came through. Y'all, like you said, Prue took that bite and the hand went up, and I was like, damn.
You could tell when they cut that cake though that it was what it was supposed to be. That the crumb on that was immaculate.
It was, bro. It's like I'll be looking at cakes now, real like with a real little bit of stank eye, and I'm a cake head. You know, I love me some cake, and I'd be like, this ain't right. This crumb is all closed. It's dense. It's stodgy, and now I know what stodgy actually is. And I kind of understand it. I'm like, fuck. I've been eating stodgy cakes my whole life, thinking they're good.
Yeah, that you could tell that cake was so light. It was just like Tasha must have told him, "This is when you take it out." Because
his second layer he had to put back in the oven.
Yeah,
he took it out. I was like, these ain't baked enough. Had the good sister put them back in the oven. Dan should have did it with the macarons when he took them out and saw they wasn't bad. But first, when he pulled up, he was like, "Oh, this ain't right." He should have put it back in the oven right then and there.
Those macarons look like the perfect Lay's on the Lay's bag. They did not look. They didn't look like macarons. And he was talking like, "Oh yeah, you do this. You let the skin form on them. The skin have formed on them way too hard because they didn't rise."
Yeah. It was bad. And like I said, I'm like I watched this the Wednesday we recorded last, and Maddie won, and I stood up like, yeah, my kid had just came down to get ready to head to school and was like, what? I'm like, oh, my dude won, and I'm just like, the underdog came through, and it's like it was such a fun little everything about this episode because they visit people, they visit their family, so you got to see people's parents. And I'm seeing Maddie's mom and dad sitting on the couch. And I'm like, you, sir, are a classic ass TV dad. Because his mom's like, last year he baked our anniversary cake. He's like, he did?
Oh, my God.
She's like, the lemon cake? He's like, oh, yeah, he did. It was real nice, wasn't it?
Man.
Sweet Maddie, his fiance, he didn't even submit himself for the show. Someone else did. Come on. He's the best guy around.
Bro, the fact that he consistently was hiding the fact that he baked with a little bit of shame right there. I'm like, bro, don't be ashamed of that. That's just toxic masculinity. That dude is a baker.
Now look at my guy. He won Bake Off.
Yeah. It's like, sir, you are a baker. And so good a baker that you are the champion of that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I hope you don't hide your talents under that bush. Come on now, get them out there.
Yeah, this is the first season that I got choked up. Like other times I'm real happy, but I was fucking happy for Maddie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I couldn't wait for y'all to watch it. I was like I said, I had already watched it last week when we talked, and I hope I didn't give anything away. I really try to not give a damn thing away. Okay.
Might be the first time I was ever fully satisfied with it. I don't been mad a whole lot. Like this is the first time I was just like, you know what? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And he was wearing Air Maxes. Yeah, man.
My dog. And everybody knew it too. Like the best part about Handsome Dan being there when he knew he should have carried his ass home last week is he was all of us in the tent because he was just kind of watching like one of them are about to win and I'm just giving you the inside scoop. Yeah.
Like, I'm going to act as your reporter for the rest of this episode because I really fucked it on these. I'm saying.
After the fucking technical challenge, Dan was like, I kind of just came today because I had to. And it wasn't like he embarrassed himself. He just was outbaked.
If you did two less things, if he would not put that collar on and not did the macaroons like they've been saying.
The collar.
The collar. And you know what, though? He did what he was supposed to do when he presented them cakes.
To the back.
That shit to the back.
Plus the side of the back. So they said it cracked when they cut into it, but it's kind of like, yeah, it's chocolate. What it's going to do but crack when you cut into it. And so I think he hit that well enough, or at least they didn't get too judgy on that situation. And like I said, just if he had just done leave all that yellow out. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, and just raspberries or a mix of yellow and red all up and down that motherfucker, make it look like the German flag, maybe. But yeah, right. We have saw twice now. Once my man presented raw dough on a platter. Should have gone home that week. And anyway. But I like him. That's the point. And I liked him even more after kind of meeting his family in this episode and having to explain, this dude is a champ from when he was a little kid on. Always winning trophies. Man of the match in soccer champion other times. You know what I'm saying? The dude. He is the dude. But you would never know. He doesn't carry himself like a jock or that kind of dude. He is a dad and is happy to be that. And was saying how the kids was mad at him and actually didn't care. Was mad at him lightweight because he lied, but didn't care that he was on Bake Off at all. And I thought that was so sweet.
And Josh, we got to hear about his nan from his mama.
God, his mom crying about her mom.
Ugh.
And her husband trying, and I'm not going to go with succeeding, but it's hard to be on TV. Trust it is.
I swear, as a dad, I feel like them the kind of them the kind of dudes that make us as dads look bad. Like, I seen this meme today where it's like it was like a dad smiling. It was like, watch this dad smile as he watched the kids open up Christmas presents, knowing that he's surprised what they're getting too.
He's just as surprised as they are.
Like, man, I swear, like, I guess, I don't know, man. Like, non-active dads, I just don't, I don't get it. That shit, I guess it's, I guess we the weird ones, Steve. We the weird ones.
I'll take it. I like that they told the story of how his nan watched him after school and taught him how to cook, and they had like a bunch of great pictures of his nan, and I love that. And like I said, you got a real good. Like, I like that Larb was Maddie's girlfriend, fiance. Let me pronounce that right. Was like, yeah, I don't know, yo, he dope at what he do. He gotta just come to it, and it was like. And again, I said last week, I truly think Maddie just got that imposter syndrome and a little bit of toxicity, but a little bit of like, I don't know, man. I guess it's good. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the dudes who don't trust that what he's doing is as good as it is. And it is. So much so that you are the champion.
Right?
That's how good a baker you are.
Listen.
I hope he never doubts himself again on that.
He kind of reminds me of the young kid, what's his name? Daniel, that won the big brunch. Yeah,
just a little
same kind of situation.
A little too much self-doubt. People don't do that. When you that good, sometimes hard to be humble when you stunting on the jumbotron. But sometimes just go ahead and stunt. Just go ahead.
I was definitely about to pull that reference. And then we got to see Saku, who reminded me why she was one of my favorite bakers in the tent, because they were like, "Who do you think she'll win?" She was like, "Could be Maddie, might be Josh, maybe even Dan." And then her Nikki becoming BFS and taking a road trip. Please. Where were the cameras?
I feel like going, because that's like the second year as we have done this that a pair have done that, and I think they just should do a Bake Off roadshow.
Oh my God,
it's too good.
A podcast? Can I have something?
Yeah.
Can you imagine Nikki and Saku on a podcast taking a road trip? Please, inject it in my veins.
Like, just one of my favorite seasons ever.
Yeah.
And hands down, truly, truly, truly enjoyed all the bakers. I didn't even get to really know Amos, but I appreciate Amos.
I forgot about Amos. And why his partner named Andy?
Amos, yes sir.
It just didn't have the same punch in England as it did over here, I guess. So we're gonna just let that go.
Hope not.
Man. But people, did y'all watch Extra Slice? I sent it to y'all. I actually sent it to y'all in a way that I thought.
No.
Okay.
I have it, and I have all the intentions on watching it, and the week has just gotten away from me because I forgot we were recording tonight. It
is. I've watched it before, but I've never watched the finale version before. It's a lot of fun. I think you're really gonna enjoy that. And
I'm definitely gonna get it. I'm gonna be away. So
when we get done, I gotta go talk to my partner about it. She was watching the last episode. I want to know what she's thinking. Maybe we'll watch that together.
Very good. But there you go, people. That was it. Wasn't that a blip? You know what I'm saying? That was 10 weeks straight. It went by in the blink of an eye. I can't believe it's already here. It has closed out, and here we are at the end of the year. But we do there's a Bake Off. They do Christmas specials every year. They end up putting them like years past on Netflix, but they don't put the fresh one up, which is the weird thing. Like, if you give us the week by week in the same week, why not give us the Christmas one at the same time? But whatever, it's fine. But if you want to, or are so inclined to reach out to us, we have an email address, podcast@stagecrunchymilk.com. Hit us up there. Or you can give us on the phone number, 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311. We would certainly love to hear from you, and hear from you this week. We have you got a triple dose and from the homie Frank, unless something has changed in the meantime, and he hit me with one more of emails from a man, Frank. First one, I want you to know how these came and how these came. First one came like 8 in the evening. The next one, the next morning, at almost 9 in the morning. And the next one came later in the afternoon that day. So Frank was on it. The thoughts was coming. He was like, hold on, I gotta let them know.
I know that's right.
First one, post-finale thoughts. Hi, y'all. I assume you are suitably stunned by the winner.
No.
That combined with the shock of Tasha's collapse produced some major last-minute twists.
Frank.
Anyway, happy for Maddie, even though he wasn't the one I was rooting for. I have a question for you all concerning the new winner. How do you think Maddie ranks compared to the previous 13 winners? And who do you think are the best ones?
That would take me a little bit of research to do the answer to that some justice. That's like a podcast in itself, I think.
For sure. A somewhat similar question involves the whole series season 14 cast. Many alum, including non-winners, are able to parlay their time to on the show into success in other avenues. Who do you think are the ones who will be able to capitalize from their time on the show, and in what way? I mean, besides writing a cookbook. For example, look at Nadia Hussein. She is a talented and sweet person, but I recall she was an anxious contestant and often a nervous wreck. Who knew she would not only go on to write 7 successful books, but also star in several TV shows, radiating charm and confidence. They included a travel show where she visited the U.S., showing off the food and culture places like New Orleans. Well, it's been fun hearing your reviews. I hope you cover the holiday specials and the American Bake Off. All my best.
Oh, we have a request. We've got a request. The people need it. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like, I hope we it will be fun to hear more feedback on this last episode. I don't know if we'll double back, but I'm looking forward to hear what everybody thought.
Yeah. Told you again, the next morning, Frank wrote back, Bake Off extra slice episode for the finale. Okay, I hope you get to watch this episode following the finale. It features the whole cast, Paul and Allison. There's some really hilarious moments and great zingers when they showed highlights from past episodes. Like I said, I have watched it, Frank. I very much enjoyed it. They haven't got to see it yet, but they will. Don't worry. I provided them links. We're good. They're going to watch it, and we'll probably talk about it another time. Don't worry about it. And then last one from Frank. One last thought. He says, promise this is the last one.
Okay.
But I forgot to bring this up. What do you think about GBBO having a guest judge every once in a while? A specialist who could be tied into a particular week's theme, and they could be the one to design the technical challenge. I keep thinking if they had done that with Mexican and Japanese week, they would have been much more successful. Frank.
That's great.
Sure, but also at the same time, like, we don't have guests on this show because it's a chemistry thing. And I feel like it could throw off the chemistry of what they do over there. Now, if you just bring in somebody to set the challenge and just say, hey, this challenge was set by our expert on X.
Like a little video.
But don't worry, a little vignette, a little something like that, but don't have them coming in the tent trying to, whatever. Then I think
so.
Maybe.
Yes. I think so. Y'all know I always equate this show to RuPaul's Drag Race, and RuPaul's Drag Race does have a guest judge every week, typically a celebrity, but they rotate the panel. So like RuPaul and Michelle Visage are always there, and then it rotates between Carson Kressley, Ross Matthews, and they've recently added T.S. Madison. And so yes. And T.S. Madison has been to Drag Race what Allison was to Bake Off. The fanship fucking loved her. And so now she's got like a permanent seat or whatever. So I think it could work in the way that you said, T, but I also think it would be nice the way that they do it on Top Chef or like Drag Race or whatever. You have that celebrity guest judge who comes not necessarily to have a choice in who wins or loses, but to give the regular judging panel a different perspective from somebody who's not there every week.
Fair.
So like ultimately Paul and Prue are making the decision, but XYZ, patisserie person is here to do this 1 week.
Because sprinkle in a little something. So yeah, I could hear that. It's Spotify rap time, y'all. And that being said, that means we got some rap stuff. I'm saying we're not a massive podcast, but we got some folk who came through. And in fact, who hit you up, Nick, to say we was in a
Who was that? Who said that we were in their top? Was it? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Charges in my head.
It's all right. That's Miss Junie Mo. I know who that was.
Was it Miss Junie?
And we talked about that last week. But somebody else hit Nick up this week, was like, I'm trying to get down with some Bake Off. And Nick had to guide them through the process. Like, look, don't be listening to us without watching that show first.
Right. Watch the show. Don't write up here mad because you done got the episode spoiled. Yeah. Well, I hope you watched, because the way that I was describing it was more reason why I was pissed off about that article, because it is such a joy to watch, and then they help each other or whatever. Like the fact that it doesn't have a villain is largely what makes it.
That is a good point. Like it's rare. Why not like the fact that it's not a villainous show? Like it's nice to have a breath of fresh air with some things.
For sure. Well, according to the good people at Spotify, our top episode, season 3, episode 3, Bread Week, is the one that got us the most people in.
Mm-hmm.
It was streamed 212% more than our average episode.
Oh, nice.
Let's hear it for the new fans. Let's see what that has to do with anything. That one says 70% of your listeners discovered you in 2023. Most of the people we got down with us this year.
Nice.
Wow.
The Big Brunch season 1, episode 1. Today's brunch special is the one that really brought them in. 18% of new listeners start right there.
What?
How does it feel to have gone global? Apparently, we have some listeners about the world. We were streamed in 12 countries. The United States was our top country. UK is our second.
Oh, nice.
Which makes sense.
Is amazing.
Your listeners have good taste, obviously. What do our listeners get down with? The listeners' top podcast genres are comedy, TV and film, and news. Also know that 75-ish% of our listeners are ladies. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Our listeners' top music genres. What do you think our listeners is listening to? I find this one fascinating.
I'm going to say death metal.
That'd be
jazz.
I would dig that too. Number 1, pop.
Okay.
Number 2, rock. Number 3, pop dance.
Oh.
I like that. I don't know. I don't know. I dig it. Your listeners definitely told their friends about you.
Oh, nice.
Which is something I ask people to do every week, so thank you for doing that. Your podcast was shared all over. 49% via direct link, 38% via text. People are text messages on our podcast. And 13% on X. So on Twitter. So there you go, man. Hustling the feed. That's what's up. Your podcast rating is 5.0. Those who have rated us have given us 5 stars.
Wow.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
This year, your listeners did more than just listen. They got talking. So that's just how we published polls and people voted them. QAs, of course, and we got responses. Pop quiz. What episode got the most audience engagement? Season 3, episode 3, season 3, episode 2, or season 3, episode 1? If you had to pick one of those, which one got the most engagement?
I would have to say, since it got the most listens, episode 3.
It's got to be. So we're going to click on that, and that's correct. Thank you. That's what we got the most action on, I guess. Are you a gardener? What does that have to do with it? Because your podcast saw some nice growth this year.
Dad joke.
Listeners are up 121%. Streams are up 222%. Followers are up 239%. And minutes created up 2%, because we do this relatively consistently. So it's not gonna be much more than what we do. Can't forgive the shout out to your biggest fans. You're a top 10 podcast for 25 fans.
Oh, wow.
You're a top 5 podcast for 15 fans. Drum roll, please. You're the number 1 podcast, 3 fans. I'll take it. One of them, I believe, was Miss Junie Mo. Well, I mean, we was definitely in her top 5, whatever. So now I think that might have been whatever.
We did it.
Words of Joe. Your top fans listen to you 1.2 times more than other listeners. So they get down with the show. They be listening and going back for a little more. 66% joined us for the first time this year. Welcome to it. Thank you for getting down with it.
That's so sweet. I think, and a little bit why we were trying to censor ourselves earlier, if I could speak for the pod, is it is, again, I'm going back to that article. It is a credit to the wholesomeness of this show that we are not really being raunchy in case we draw the audience, the wider audience of the show. But like everyone who listens to our shows knows that we're going to talk about penis within the first 30 seconds of the show, either show, to be honest. But I think it's so awesome that our little show is reaching and touching people. And I hope that you all continue to share it. And if you give us enough feedback about this last episode, we could come back and just talk about that. To
give a little insight, my topic for this week's skim is spinning the block because
Ashante and Nelly. Yeah. It's listen.
And like it's, hey, if it's a good thing, we'll you give us an inch, we'll give you a mile if we can.
Right.
I don't joke around. I love doing this show. I love finding out what King Alfred was. I love trying to tell y'all what I think is, the necessary bits and pieces of like baking. Because sometimes we don't know what American buttercream is, the difference between American buttercream and a French buttercream. And finding it out and sharing it with y'all is a delight. And I hope it makes you guys happy. We love finding little articles and sharing with y'all. It's fun to do. It brings more to a show that I really, really enjoy, and it makes me enjoy it all that much more. And again, truly, truly a great set of bakers this year. Top tier bakers this go around. And I get it, Frank. I mean, saying Maddie was not your choice of who was going to take this, but Maddie truly was a special baker. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't and a fun guy when it's all said and done. Like I said, his ending of this episode was just like, it was so nice to hear him talk about his doubts, his worries, his concerns, and then coming like, but yo, I'm out here and I did this shit, man. It's like, that's wild to me. And I like that he kind of was like, yeah, okay, I did that. And I like that he had accepted he earned it. I like that. That's the fun part about the show. I like that Jen was like, man, I'm absolutely chuffed my man did this, is what my man Josh said about it. You're saying? That's what it is. The others celebrate the victor, They're proud that they have kicked it with this whole time, came through and did the dang thing. And it just adds to a whole situation. And I get to talk about that for 10 weeks straight with my homies. It's great. It's great. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just a good thing. And I take it as such. That's why we don't need villains.
Absolutely not.
Maddie and
I'm probably going to edit out that I called her a B-word.
You going to put a sword sling through it?
Maddie and Tasha's bond was so adorable. Like, it's just such a wholesome show. I would hate for anything to ruin it. And they've been doing it this way for so long. It's been really successful. I don't think because it's becoming popular in America that we should try to change the spirit of this very lovely show.
Yes. Also, we have an American Bake Off.
Right. Which is fun.
If they want to play with, I guess, in that version, probably a show that you probably ain't even watch. You don't be getting down with the get down. And you missing out on some dope shit because of that. But still, I love it. I very much do enjoy it. We were talking about doing this Christmas episode of the Great American Baking Show, indeed. And if we're going to do that, and let's assume we're going to try to get it out for Christmas in that 21st, 22nd range of days is when
that week is the only week I do not have someone staying with me this month. Besides this week, I am recording another podcast on Thursday. Reggie and I will probably try to record on Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday are open.
See, look, that's probably happening, people. And it's probably going to be a regular record day on a Tuesday. So there you go. You got breezier than that there. Oh, wow. What a great series. I am going to truly look back on 14 as something great and amazing. Plus, yes. I feel like we took off like a shot this year. I think we really became something this year. People talk about us. People mention us places. You know what I'm saying? People be digging up Nick. You're like, Nick, man, where this show at? Where is it? And how can I get down with it? Thank you for spreading the good word of us wherever you go. Always. Thank you for sharing that because it's dope. You also got you a fresh what's tea this week too, so you can double up. You have some tea with your cake this week.
Yeah.
Get on.
Not that every episode isn't hilarious, but this episode was a really funny episode. Not that everyone isn't.
I want you to know when Reggie said from Lord of the Rings, and he said it with such a little, I don't know what it was. I laughed so hard. And I don't know why it made me laugh so hard, but it made me laugh real hard.
I've already listened to it like twice, and when I lost my shit during the meanwhile on Twitter trying to describe the comments said you look like Timon and Pumbaa taught you how to roar.
And I'm definitely going to use only ugly people say. Was it only ugly people say sorry?
Sorry is a word for ugly people.
I'm definitely going.
Let me tell y'all. A man came to my vehicle in the dark of night in Berkeley, leaned into my car and was like, do y'all have a cigarette? I'm like, no. And then he was like, do you have any money? I'm like, no. And he's like, can I get a ride? And I was like, no, I'm sorry, no. And he goes, sorry is a word for ugly people. And I was like, fuck you, and drove my car away.
That was a good saying. It might have been at the wrong time, but it was the right words.
When I tell you my man dropped a bar, 15 years later, I'm still sorry is the word for ugly people.
I am telling you, homeless people are prophets. I've been saying that for a long time.
They really are. They really are.
Go listen to What's the Tea because it's dope. and my child made it a point who tried his best to stay up this night to come and see you before he went to bed to send you and Reggie love. He goes, let Nick know, show love, let Nick know that I love her and tell her I think Reggie is funny and I like him too. And so there you go. That is from my son who today was named Student of the Month.
Yes.
And let's give it up to my homeboy Lee because I'm very proud of him. It has nothing to do with nothing.
Tell Lee I love him always. And like Auntie Nick always down for Lee. Man, 100 grand.
If you ever want to hear about my life and Anthony's life and so forth, we do a whole podcast. It's called Stay Country Milk. Comes out
really fucking good.
Just about every Thursday if I'm on point. There, it's great. I love it. I don't love it as much as I love this.
Oh. Well,
it's very special. That's Nick Jew.
Justice for Jurgen.
Always. Man, one hit away. Technically 3 hits away because he went out at 4, but still.
But you know what? My guy, Giuseppe, he was great.
Bro.
He was really great.
Another, like I said, Jurgen has wrote a book, traveled the world, plays his horn everywhere he goes. Jurgen is living a good life. Oh, you know, I want to answer Frank. Okay. Who do I think can go do things? I truly think Dana can go host just about anywhere. I think she carries that kind of heat with her, and I think she might just end up, she's the type of person who would probably make a nice YouTube channel or be on people, get invited to do people's YouTube channels, because that's just how it's going to work now. Tasha's going to be famous. Hands down.
100%.
She is going to go become a representative of people who are hard of hearing or deaf and learning sign language. She is going to blow up. It's going to be massive. Dan's a good dude. I could see Dan honestly doing like punditry. He probably could go talk soccer anywhere, because it turns out we now know Dan knows his shit, but he can also talk baking. So it could probably be a world of sports and baking, and that'd be great. Rowan graduated, so he has a degree now. So he'll probably go work toward and with his degree. Amos, I believe, is into acting. So Amos is probably already yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about Amos. He got you. So it's like Maddie seems happy as a PE teacher and a soon to be married man, and I think he might just ride out with that. And I'm not saying he shouldn't, and I'm not saying he couldn't, but he seems so happy, you know.
I think because of the way he looks, they're going to come to him. Like somebody is going to be like, you have no idea how many women and men find you attractive. We need to get you in your shirt off. So how do we get there? Like, I definitely see people coming for him.
Fair. I don't know who he compares to. I'm not gonna say he's one of the greatest bakers ever, but I want you to know something. That cake had Prue holding her hand up in the air, and I don't think I've ever seen that before. Beautiful so if nothing else, that makes cake.
She hit the Holy Ghost, raised her arm up and said, hey.
Need your hand something hit your mouth just right.
Listen.
Just so. Yeah. It's a chicken salad.
you better come up here and get you one of these.
That's the 216 zone.
I do need to get me one of those. I don't live far from there. I mean, far enough.
You should go.
I have to at least be to represent
Keith Lee it up. Anthony would make an amazing Keith Lee.
You know what? I might, but at the same time, like we do have a dude that like that kind of does that here in Cleveland, but he's a perfectly fine gentleman, and he's doing good things, but he is super negative.
Is it what's his name?
Yeah, we about to get off in a second. Yeah. I mean, they know who he is. He on Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. I have been your host. I am the Internet's Tabrel 713.
The hostess with the mostest.
Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for baking with us. We will continue to, keep the ovens warm for you till we come back.
Wait, before you do the sign off, I don't think people realize how much work you do to make this come out. Like them pages and pages of very fucking detailed notes, how hard that is. I hosted the Big Brunch, so I know how hard it is to watch a show and get down details like that and then go research it or whatever. So like just props to you for driving the ship.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you for loving this vasectomy baby more than our regular show. Like the other two is proper. I mean, and then this one came out, but I still love it. I love you more because of the struggle you've been through.
We will holler at y'all next time. Until then, peace. Holy smoke.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.